Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video, and today we're going to talk about pruning of lavender. Now, this is really something that I should have done this fall because my blooms are already set for this year. But this is a first season plant for me. I planted it last summer, and I've got it in my yard, and I'd like it to look a little bit better. So one of the things that you'll notice about lavender is it does tend to grow straight out. In my yard, I really don't like it to grow straight out because it kind of gets long and leggy and then it'll flop over and you've got this long horsetail of a plant rather than a round bush or a round domed bush that I'd really like to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to prune this into a bush shape by selecting out some of these branches. And what that'll do is that'll force more branches to come out from the base of the plant and get a rounder, fuller plant. So the trade-off that I'm going to do this spring is I am going to lose a bunch of my blossoms. Those are already set right here. If I dug down small enough, you would find them. I'm going to cut a bunch of that off, but in the long term, I'm going to get a second flush of blooms this spring and maybe even to later this summer, and the plant is going to look better itself. I've got several of them to do here in my yard space, and I'll go ahead and move the camera, zoom it in a little bit closer so you can see why and how I'm trimming this plant to get it into the shape that I like. All right, now we have a little bit tighter of a shot on this, and you can see that I've got these long branches. They're about 18 inches long or so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut them back fairly severely. I'm going to cut them back about that long. With this, the benefit for those of you that enjoy it, you can use that and put it in a sachet. But with this, I'm going to come in, I'm going to find a space in between a couple of nodes. That's where branches come off. And I'm going to trim this about 9 inches off the ground. So right there, I'm going to come in and select that. So what I'm doing is I am leaving these longer leaders on here. If you want to help trim it to shape, you can come in between the leaves. That's in a node, and you can select those out. This one is a Spanish style lavender. So the varietal name on this one is Otto Quast. It was found in San Reyes, California by a gentleman named Otto Quast. And it is, again, a Spanish style lavender. And with that, what that means is we have a pineapple. Here's an older one. We have a pineapple shaped blossom, and then there'll be two purple feathers that'll come off the top of that. Some people call that the bee, the feathers that come off here. And those flowers will start around here, probably early June is when they'll start blooming. But with these, the pruning is fairly straightforward. I'm going to come in here 9 or so inches off the ground, go in between some branches, and go ahead and prune those off. Now, if you don't go through and do that with these, again, they will become quite leggy, and they tend to just grow in long branches. And we want them to look nice and appealing in our garden space. So yeah, if you think about it, this is a fairly harsh prune, but now I'm just starting to develop my bowl shape, my inverted bowl shape or my circular shape of my bush here, of this lavender bush. Now, it does have that lavender smell. It does work great for your sachets. The Spanish lavender is not quite the one that would have the long stems where you would normally see that in a cut lavender. This is mainly grown for its blossom in the outdoors. So again, these don't bloom all at once. They do a series of flushes of bloom. So one in the spring and then one later in the summer. Kind of a second wave. If you prune off all the dead blossoms as you go, you can get more flushes of blossoms. So again, I'm going to come in here 9-10 inches off the ground. I'm going to go in and I'm going to select in between nodes or branches, and I'm going to prune those off. And all of this lavender can be saved to do whatever you would like with it. Sachets, floral arrangements, dried flowers, it's up to you. Doesn't really matter much. And this is pruning for shape so that you can have that wonderful shaped lavender bush in your yard. This should be a fairly quick and straightforward process. Don't worry about pruning too much. These are very hardy plants and they will easily recover. So there you go. If I get some of these that are just long leaders, I'll remove them. But this is going to keep my lavender in a nice looking shape. Okay, move up here to the next one. And looks like we've got a liatris in the way. Move these spikes. It's Liatris spicta. I'm going to come in here and we're going to prune this one just the same to shape, about 9 inches off the ground. You don't have to spend a lot of time. This is a variety that I used to raise commercially when I was on our family's farm. It was one of my most popular lavender varieties. And there you go. There is a spring pruning of Otto Quast, a Spanish lavender. And when you're done, you'll have a nice looking lavender bush in the spring and lots of lavender sprigs to put in a sachet to keep in the house. Hope you learned something today. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.